Good morning and welcome to the second day of our workshop. I am Sandra Quinn and I'm the chair of the Workshop Planning Committee. For those of you who weren't with us yesterday, I want to just remind us that our goal of this two-day workshop is to consider the roles of trust and trustworthiness in public health preparedness, response, and science, or pepper science as we refer to it. We think in public health across a continuum from pre-event to response to mitigation. And even today, as we're grappling still with the pandemic, public health is addressing other issues. We have a huge swath of the country facing severe weather threats. We have ongoing crises related to lead exposure in a number of our cities. We are watching the spread of an avian influenza across many states today. And then there are the routine emergencies that public health addresses, like foodborne outbreaks on a local level. Yesterday, we talked about why trust in pepper science is so important. And it remains, important no matter, and here is the work of Wade Forbes, who captured, much of what we said yesterday during our sessions. We focused on trust. What does trustworthiness look like? What do we need to do with regard to building an infrastructure that can indeed continue to build trust in pepper science across our populations? So today, we are going to really look very much at the issues. Let me back up and just give a shout out to Wade Forbes, because capturing the themes and visually is a real gift to us as a committee and as participants in this workshop. So we will see more of those later on today. Today, we're going to focus very much on communication, and we're going to be talking about misinformation, disinformation. We're going to be talking about the information environment. And so this will be a complex conversation in this very rapidly changing and somewhat overwhelming information context. So I want to remind you as we go through the day that you have an opportunity to engage in the workshop by participating in Slido, which is on the events page. You can submit comments and questions and respond to the prompts we put there. All of those things will go toward ultimately how the summary of the workshops. We're really excited that this afternoon at 1:45, we're going to have a participatory activity. Many of us who live on Zoom for the past 2 years have learned about Miro. So we will be using a virtual whiteboard, and Sarah Lunsford, who is our facilitator, will be taking us through an opportunity for you to reflect on what you've heard during the workshop and what we can do going forward to strengthen the trust in pepper science and the trustworthiness of public health, of pepper science and public health agencies. So I also want to say something that emerged yesterday during our conversations, and that is there, for much of the public, I think we discussed at some points yesterday, what public health is still a bit of a mystery. They don't always understand what it is that we do and the breadth of what we do. In fact, the old adage, I think, is if we do our jobs well, nothing happens. And so the public doesn't even know that's who is, inspecting their restaurants so they don't get a foodborne exposed to a pathogen. But we also heard something yesterday that's critically important. So remember, we're thinking about the public health system at large, the science that underlies preparedness and response. But we're also influenced by another big system, healthcare, and people's experiences with the healthcare system. So as we go through this, we're talking about a communication about pet for science, and we recognize there's a larger context out there that shapes and affects, our communication and the trust and trustworthiness in pet for science.